All right, so we are on our new unit, Unit 8, Logarithms. So let's take a quick peek at our unit guide. There's our unit guide. Notice that we have 6 lessons, 2 quizzes, and 1 test. So again, it's kind of a short unit. It'll take us a maximum of 2 weeks to get through. Tonight we have 2 homework assignments, then lots and lots of 1 homework assignment, and then 2, 2, 1, and quiz. All right, so here we go. Today's date, put it on your notes as well, is Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. I don't know why it always has a weird 0 up there. Okay. Quiet raised hand. What is our, I don't know why that says standard. It should be our objective of the day. Jaden.
Understand that logarithms are the inverse of exponents.
Exactly. So last unit, all of Unit 7 was dealing with exponents.
Did you just throw that?
It was a slide. It was not a throw. So we need to understand what an inverse function even means. So we'll be reviewing that. So I am going to introduce to you guys something that's called a what power function. It's something that I've invented myself. It is pretty cool. So I'm going to write this as what power base 2 of 8. I'm going to read this as 2 to what power is 8, abbreviating this way. So this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of class. What power does 2 need to be raised to get to 8? That's how I read this circled power. You guys are going to repeat this with me. So on the count of 3, we're going to say 2 to what power is 8? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 2 to what power is 8? Good. You now know the what power function. Leo, I need to be able to see your ears. So from here, who can read example 1 for me in terms of this notation? Who can read example 1? You don't need to solve it, just read it. Beverly.
3 to what power is 27?
There it is. 3 to what power is 27? All right, so let's actually solve this original one. 2 to what power is 8? Quiet raised hand. 2 to what power is 8? Now solve this. Ellery?
2 to the 3rd.
Yeah, 2 to the 3rd power is 8. So the answer to this what power function is 3. 2 to what power is 8? Well, 3. All right, let's solve this other one. 3 to what power is 27? Quiet raised hand. 3 to what power is 27? And I see 27 up there, so you guys should know this. Aurelio? 3. The answer of that what power function is 3. Ooh, let's try a harder one. I need someone to be able to read this one and answer it. Who thinks they've got it? Read that question and answer it.
Wow.
One person has it. 2 people have it. 3 people have it. India, you've been very patient. Yeah, go for it.
10 to what power is 10,000?
Okay. And the answer is?
4.
There it is. And you might be asking, well, wait, why is 10 to the power 4 10,000? So the cool thing with 10 is 10 to, I don't know, the 7th power means I'll have 1 with 7 zeros after it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 10 to the 2 is 1 with 2 zeros after it, or 100. The power always represents how many zeros there are. So India, another way of doing that, I don't know if this is what you did, but you count the number of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 zeros, so that's why I have the power of 4. This is a time where you're like, hey, you lost me, ask questions, what's going on? If there's no questions, I assume that everyone has 100% understanding. Okay, 100%, I like that. Okay, so before I move too fast, I want to talk about our rules of exponents yet again. They always come back. Math always circles back. Anything to the power of 0, quiet raised hand, is what? Anything, make sure it's a quiet raised hand. Who still has their cards? Yeah, Anna.
1.
Yes, anything to the power of 0 is 1. Make sure you have it in your notes. What if I want to get rid of a negative exponent? How would I get rid of this negative exponent? X to the power of negative a is what? Beverly?
1 over x to the power of a.
1 over x to the positive a, exactly. I can zoom in here so we can see. So in order to get rid of this negative power, we flipped it and made it a positive power. Thank you, India. What about the other way? What if I have a fraction, 1 over x to the negative a, and I want to get rid of a negative exponent? How would I do that? Ellery?
It's going to be x to the positive a.
X to the positive a. or x to the positive a over 1. I flip it again and make it a positive exponent. Perfect, thank you. Hopefully everyone is okay with these rules. This is probably like the 10th time that we've reviewed them. But if not, we will get better and better. All right, so now we're getting into these harder questions. I need someone to read what this is asking for example 3, and then to answer number 3. And again, now that I have had a lot of people participate, I'm going to start cold calling on people. By that I mean I'm going to call on you at random. You've already had your card in, so I'm not going to pick on you. Jaden.
I already have my card.
You do?
It's not that I don't want to do it. I just want to give it to somebody who actually has it.
Did you read the...
I read the objective.
Yeah, can you do this one instead?
But he already put his card in, so that doesn't count.
I'm still going to call on you, though.
Okay.
I want you to do some math.
What's the purpose of cold calling?
So I'm doing what?
Read the base first. 5.
5 to 1.
5 to what power is 1?
What to the power of 5 is 1?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's close.
What?
It's 5 to what power is 1?
5 to what power is 1?
Yeah, so 5 to the power of what is 1?
5? You just by 5 to 1.
You use this rule. 5 to what power is 1?
0.
There it is. The answer here is 0. 5 to the 0th power is 1. Thank you, Jade. All right. What about this one? I need someone to read it.
Cold call.
I'll cold call on someone that definitely does not have, or that someone that definitely has their card.
Cold call. Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait, never mind.
Leo, go ahead and just read it for us then. How do I read it?
7 to the power. To the power of what?
7 to what power is
7.
1/7? Yeah. Are you sure you want to give this off to someone else? It's going to be using one of these other 2 rules that I talked about, Leo. I'll give you a hint. This 7 is to the first power. This 7 is also to the first power. Both of these are power of 1.
Why is the AC on? It's freezing.
It's hot in here. What are you talking about?
It's only pointed at them. If they're okay with it, that's great.
Is it cold? Do you feel it?
You got this, Leo. It's going to be some sort of negative. Take a guess.
No one else buys
-1, yeah. So what power does 7 need to be raised to in order to get to 1/7? And the answer is -1.
Oh, this stupid robotic stuff.
All right, Aurelia, make sure that you're paying attention to the notes. All right, and that was kind of a hard one. What power does 7 need to be raised to? Make sure you really understand this. This is the time to ask questions. Yeah, Lorea.
So the 1, you just turn the top number into a negative?
Yeah, so I can explain it another way. So another way of writing the what power function is 7 to what power gives you 1/7. And check out the rule that's up here. Look at this rule right here. If I change this to a -1, then it flips and turns into a +1. So if I do a -1 here, this flips into a +1 on the bottom. And I can also help you on the side if you guys have more questions. All right, so let's actually talk about logarithms, which is what this whole unit is about. The proper name for this what power function is called a, take a guess, quiet raised hand. Lorea? There it is. It's a logarithm. Logarithm.
What's up with the teacher being so scared of these things?
I know, they seem easy, right?
No, there's
It's really, whenever I see a logarithm, in my head, I automatically translate them into what power.
It's gonna be easy.
There's something harder over here because
Yeah, bro.
there's gotta be. There's no way.
So it's this.
Was the teacher
All right.
like?
There's a quiet raised hand, I can answer the question. Is it an on-task question related to the
It's
math?
related to math.
Okay, go for it, Jaden.
Okay. Did your teacher know more math than you did?
When I was in high school, yes.
Well, now.
Now, I'm afraid to say that I know more than him now, but that might be putting him down because he
Why
was
are
a
you
great
afraid?
guy. It's just, I think I know quite a bit about math now.
Why are you afraid?
So why was he
Because it's
afraid?
like putting him down. He was like 90 years old and he was like amazing at math.
Oh.
And he was like the best way of explaining like simple concepts. It's just I might know more math than him now.
So would you be better at him?
Is there a quiet raised hand, Aurelia? All right, so the way that I write this, what power does 2 need to be raised to get to 16, is now going to be written as log base 2 of 16. I'm just replacing the what power function with the log function. And that log is shorthand for logarithm. I don't want to write out logarithm every single time. And you'll notice that calculators have a log button on them. Let me see if my calculator has a log button on it. Where is it? Log, there it is. Question, Ellery.
So, are all logarithms just like what powers, or are there different types of logarithms?
They're all what power functions. 100% of them are what power functions. But sometimes this bottom number changes. Like for that calculator, notice that the bottom number is permanently locked into a 10. 10 to what power is whatever.
Okay.
If you want to do some other sort of logarithm, this is log base e. There's different bases, different numbers that I can have down here. What I'm teaching you is the general case. What power does 2 need to be raised to get to 16? So how do I pronounce this? I already said it out loud. I was just wondering if anyone paid attention. Something something 2 of 16. It's not what power does 2 need to be raised to get to 16. One of the first words starts with an L, which I hope is pretty obvious. Ellery?
Log base 2 of 16?
There it is. Write it down, everyone. Log base 2 of 16. We're going to do that same thing that you do in kindergarten. We're going to pronounce this together. Everyone's going to say log base 2 of 16. Ready? Go.
We're still young adults.
Log base 2 of 16. Again. Log base 2 of 16. One more time. Log base 2 of 16. Okay, we know how to pronounce it. Perfect. So let's go ahead and answer these questions. Again, automatically translate them in your head. 3 to what power is 9? Or log base 3 of 9. Who's got the answer to this question? 3 to what power is 9 with a quiet raised hand?
Ooh, I got this one.
Who's got this one? Atziri, yeah. 2. You have just solved a logarithm problem. Things that made my math teacher afraid. You've done it now. You're already answering them. Okay, slightly harder now. We haven't done this level of difficulty. Log base 3 of 1/9. Ooh, how am I going to do this one? It was a fraction, so fractions usually mean it's a negative power, but it went from 3 to 9. How did I get from 3 to 9? What happened? India.
Negative 2?
-2. Look at the difference between these two logarithms. The only difference is that one is 9 and the other one is 1/9. One of them is flipped. Flip in logarithm notation just means negative. That's the only difference, because in order to flip, the power needs to be a negative. They both have the same base. The only way to get 1/9 is to make it a negative exponent. Let's try another one. This is one of the hardest types of questions I can ask you. Yeah, it is. Example number 7. Log base of a fraction, log base 1/3 of 27. Well, in order to flip the fraction, you know what needs to happen, some sort of number, and then how do I get from 3 to 27? So I think of this as, I need to flip, and then how do I get from 3 to 27? What power do I need to do? I need to see at least 4 hands, otherwise I'm not going to call on anyone. I see 1, 2, 3,
You need a cold call.
4. I'm not going to cold call for really hard questions.
Never mind.
Or I guess I could.
There you go.
Cheyenne, how do I do this? How do I flip? What has to happen in order for me to flip? Not quite. So look at this one. So 3 flipped, and then it was 1/3, but then I had to make it 2 to make it a 1/9. So to flip, what do you notice about -2? It's negative. Negative means a flip. So I have it negative. Just by putting a negative now, I've turned this 1/3 into 3/1. How do I convert 3/1 to 27? What power does 3 need to go to get to 27, Cheyenne? 3. So the answer here is -3. Thank you, Cheyenne. I'll take your card. On to the back. Ooh, another hard question. I'm starting now at 25. 25 to what power gives me 5? Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's
I'll-
probably why he's
I'll give you a hint on this one. and I know that not all of you need the hint. My hint is that the square root of 25 is equal to 5. That means I have to do something to 25. 25, this 25 right here, to what power gives me 5? 25 to what power gives me 5? If you think you have it, just go ahead and write it down. 25 to what power is 5? Essentially what I'm asking you is convert radical notation into exponential notation. This used to be square root of 25. How do I make this as 25 to the something power? Sam, you got this one?
No.
I'll give you a hint. The index of the square root of 25 is a hidden 2. So this is really 25 to the something with a 2 in it. Close. Negative 2 would make this 1 over 625, which is a little bit off. It's a fraction. Fraction. A fraction with 2 in it. A half. There it is. Thank you. 25 to the half is the same thing as the square root of 25, which means the answer, 25 to what power gives you 5? 25 to the half power gives you 5. The answer here is a half.
Half power, I've never heard of that.
You've never, what?
Well,
I guess I need to go back and reteach us a whole unit. 25 to the half power gives us 5. And again, make sure that you have this stuff down in your notes. The square root of 25 is 5, or 25 to the 1/2 power is 5. Let's try an even harder one.
You said we.
A harder one compared to example 8. 81. Log base 81 of 127. This is a problem that I am like 99% sure that my calculus teacher would not have been able to solve if I had given it to him in high school. I wonder if any of us can solve it already. 81 to the what power gives you 127? And this is one where you need to convert both of these into the same base. These already got it. Both of them into the same base. So first, right now, on your paper, 81 is what to the power of what? Write it down. 27 is what to the power of what? You should have these memorized from 2 units ago. All the way back in December. 81 is what to the power of what? And I think Arrow, oh yeah, Arrow did make a poster. They're right there, bottom left. 81, you'll find 81 up there. 81 is what to the power of what? And then once you find that one, 27 is what to the power of what, and that one is one of the colorful posters up there in the top right.
I'm trying to look for my glasses to learn.
You're good? It wasn't you?
Oh, never mind.
That one was you. I shouldn't have said that. All right. All right. Quiet raised hand. 81 is what power? What to what power? Jaden.
9 to 2.
You're good. 9 to
That
2.
was it.
That is, you are 100% correct.
You know, never again.
You are correct. Jaden, you are correct.
You said. You're like almost correct.
What is it also? An additional 2. Yes, Emily in the back. It's also 3 to the power of 4. One of them is going to be used. The other one is.
I see how that one's better.
Okay.
I understand.
All right, thank you. What about 27? 27 is what to the power of what? Beverly? 3 to the power of 3. Yeah, and as Jaden is seeing now, 3 to the power of 4 is slightly better because both of these are in the same base.
I didn't know we had to. I didn't hear you when you said there had to be.
So now the question is, if I were to rewrite this logarithm, everyone rewrite it with me in the notes. I'm rewriting this problem as log base 3 to the power of 4 of 1 over 3 to the power of 3. That's what this question is really asking. So one of the cool tricks is we obviously know to get from 81 to a fraction, what should our answer be with a quiet raised hand? I need like at least 6 raised hands. We've done this now like 4 times. If I ever have a non-fraction turning into a fraction, what should my answer be? What type of answer? Where on the number line is it located? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 hands. I need 2 more hands. I'm not going until there's 6. I need 6 hands. There's another hand. I need 1 more hand. If I have a non-fraction and it turns into a fraction, look at example number 7. I had a fraction turning into a non-fraction. Oh, -3. A 3 turned into a fraction. Oh, -2. What's going on here? Yeah, Sam. Changes to a negative. Perfect. So our answer has a negative in it. So the negative takes the fact that it's going to be flipped. But now how do I go from 4 to the power of 3? AKA, what do I multiply 4 by to get to 3? And I'll give you a side problem. I need to somehow get 4 to the power of 3. So if I had something like 2 and I needed to get to 7, what I would do is I would say, oh, 2 times 7 halves gets you to 7. What do you need to multiply 4 by in order to get to 3? Get rid of the 4. Divide by 4. Get to a 3. Multiply by 3. What fraction are you really multiplying by? Ellery? 3/4. -3/4 is our final answer. Yeah, that one was difficult. Because you needed to change these into having a base that was the same, and then asking yourself, how do I get from the 4th power to the 3rd power? Well, if I take this 3 to the power of 4 to the power of 3/4, then the 4's cancel out and I'm left with 3. That one was difficult.
The next one's probably gonna be hard.
So that's the hardest I'll ever go. I won't go any harder than that. Yeah, Ellery.
In that one, it was like you went from 2 to 7 and you had 7 over 2. Why is this one a fraction? It's like opposite. Or it doesn't matter. Does it matter what order they're in? Like if it was 3 to the 3rd and then 3 to the 4th and you go 3 to 4?
Then I would have to flip the fraction to 4/3 instead of 3/4. Exactly, yep. Okay, so you've seen the limit of my difficulty. Example 9 is the hardest I will go. Example number 7 is kind of the precursor to example 9. I think I misspoke before, didn't I, Jaden? I apologize for that. I won't say that ever again. So here is the definition of a logarithm, which is where most textbooks actually begin. I like beginning with the what power function, though. If I have log base b of y gives me x, I can now change this to b to the what power is y? Oh, b, the answer is to the x power is y. So write that down. B to the x power is equal to y. So these different forms have different names. This one is called the logarithmic form. So write that one down. This is called the logarithmic. Logarithmic? I think it's logarithmic form. And this one is called exponential form. And that's all we have for the notes. Done. Sometimes on Khan Academy they might say, hey, here's something that's in logarithmic form. They'll give you a problem that looks like this. They say, convert this form into exponential form. If you simply ask yourself the what power question, this follows pretty naturally. If you can think in reverse of the what power function, you can get from here to here. I love thinking about this in terms of the what power function. Are there any questions on this lesson? Any outstanding questions? Okay, so give me a fist of 5. How well can you show, I guess this is just evaluating, how well can you evaluate logarithms on a scale of 1 to 5? 5 being I understand it really well, no problem. Let's go clockwise. 4, 3, 3, 4. What's that at? 1? 1.5. 3.5. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. All right. This will only improve with homework. All right, that concludes the lesson.